guess the English would just be inZoi's, but I'm trying to give it the official pronunciation because it is a Korean developed game. They recently came out with their roadmap about the game and what's going to be some of the features that we're going to be able to see. So what's actually pretty cool is that you can go onto their Discord and you can make suggestions onto their Discord at any time, and they are listening. So they are adding things to the game that people are requesting, which is really cool. And he said one of the biggest things that people were requesting was cars. People wanted to be able to drive around, and so they do have cars. You can't control it like GTA, as he says. It's not like GTA. So it does seem to be that you just get in the car and you tell it where you want to go, and it just like drives to wherever it's going. But you can look around in the car, like a VR kind of thing. If you see people on the side of the road that you know, you can call them over. They can get in the car. You can ride with them. And car accidents are possible. So you can either be in a car accident or you can be in the car and the car hits somebody else. So that is definitely a thing, which could lead to death. And so because of that, they realize that sometimes people don't want their characters to die. So the game is going to have save states. I believe they called it something along the lines of a timeline or something like that. So what you can do is you can actually go through your character's history, go to a previous moment in their life, and then you could just go back to that moment and they would be alive again. And so yeah, you have that as opposed to The Sims where you basically just have whatever the world state is and it just saves that. You would have different states that you can fall back on if you wanted to. So that's pretty cool. They're also going to be doing more group activities. They have karaoke. They have activities where the characters, one on one, where it's just two people. They're working on ones with groups of bigger people, interactions and that sort of thing. One of the things that they showed is that the characters are going to have kind of their they're going to be a little more interactive to the situation than perhaps that we've seen in The Sims. For example, one of the things is they had the guy was leaving his house to go to work, and the wife came out to greet it to say goodbye as he was leaving and gave him a hug as he went off. Whereas in The Sims, your characters would just leave. They don't really have situational interact. So that's kind of cool if they're going to do that, or people are going to come over and they're like, oh, you're going to work. Okay, goodbye. And that sort of thing. So that's really fun. And then they talked a bit about how their relationships are going to work. So, of course, you have your general relationship. You also have sliders. So, with the sliders, you can change how easy it is for your character to build certain relationships. Can they build romantic relationships really quickly, but interpersonal really slowly? So they fall in love really fast, but they have a really hard time opening up, or the opposite, or are they very friendly? So you have sliders. You can control just how easy or how hard it is for your character to do that. They also have reputation. So anytime your character does something, they're going to gather some reputation. So, for instance, if they get caught stealing money, they're going to have that reputation, and people are going to be less trusting of them. Even your friends, or if you help people out a lot, then you're going to have that reputation. So people are going to be maybe a little more trusting of you. So that's cool. They also have what they're calling karma right now. They're not quite set on the name, but that's a different version of reputation, where reputation is something you do and people see it and you get a reputation. Karma is something you do that people don't see. And so it's this in the background. You're a bad person, bad things might come back to you, even though other people don't realize you're a bad person. So it's cool that they're separating those two things out versus things that people see you doing versus the things that people don't see you doing. So that's an interesting little twist there. They did talk about city edit a little bit. One of the things is they have big billboards all over the world. You can play YouTube videos on those billboards. So as you're walking around in the back and the game, you can watch YouTube videos on these billboards. That's cool. You can set the weather. You can set what kind of plants and animals show up in different kinds of weather. So if you want pandas to show up in the winter, you can do that. They also have disasters, so you can control things like the crime rate within your city, or if there's fires. They showed a situation where it looked like maybe there had been a volcanic eruption or something. There's just fires everywhere and the world was all messed up. Another thing that people are requesting is mods. So they said they are going to be adding mods and CC, which is custom content. And they said because this is being made in Unreal, this should be very similar to modding any other game in Unreal. So it should be relatively easy to mod, but they are working with other agencies outside of themselves to make modding even easier. So people who maybe don't have modding experience will have a slightly easier time getting into it. So they do want people to be able to do this. So that's really cool. Life by You is doing the same thing. And right now they're releasing all these videos on how to mod. They're showing they've already showed how to mod clothes, how to mod that. So the fact that inZoi's is doing the same thing, very cool. They said that when you're sleeping, there's not really much to do, so they're adding dreams to the game. They said that they're adding dreams, and if you have a lucky dream the next day, you can go out and buy a lottery ticket, and you have a higher chance of winning. So they said that, and then also you can go out to tarot reading. So if you have dreams, you can go to a tarot reader, and they'll tell you what they said. But they were saying that dreams are very important in Korean culture. So when people have dreams, they really put a lot of agency behind that. Oh, why do you have that dream? What's it mean? So he said that they really wanted to reflect that part of Korean culture there. They have sleepwalking, so your character can get up and sleepwalk and do other things while they're sleeping. They can, like, for instance, the example that they gave is they could donate their entire funds to a charity, and then you wake up the next morning and your character has no money because they donated everything. So that's something that can happen. They said you can cancel it after the fact, but it's in there. They have like a photo shoot kind of things going on. They have a lot of tools for that. You can edit your character's facial expressions in the background. So they even have a studio in the game where they have specific settings like an airplane or a laundromat. And so if you want to like do Photoshop or if you want to do photo editing, you can take your character to the photo studio and do all that. That's a lot of fun. And then they showed the customization and it looks really good. The hair in particular, they were showing that you can take the hair and you can shorten it or lengthen it. You can cut the hair shorter and whatnot, which is really cool. Neo 2 had something similar. I really loved that you could actually edit like how long the hair is, not just the style, but how long. I think that's really cool. Lots of coloring that you can do. Yeah, and then they said in the future they're planning to add more jobs and more cities so you can check out new places. And as I said before, if you are interested in any of this and you have some ideas that you would like to add, their Discord is open. You can go into their Discord, you can make some suggestions. A lot of the things that they have added were ideas that the audience suggested.